Hello, Oliver James here. I am doing something different that I've never usually done before. Usually, I do not reactions, but I do results to the Premier League, which I'm going to start doing again soon because I've hardly had internet and all that. But I mean, live right now is the Carabao Cup, which is known as the English League Cup. So I thought I would go live and give you live scores and my reactions to the games at the minute. And I will talk also in depth about Bolton Wanderers and Bury of League One, who could both face expulsion from League One by the end of today. But before that is said and done, before obviously we will do, mate. Before we go into obviously talking about Bolton and Bury potentially facing expulsion from League One, they're alive. Carabao Cup games where there's been only one goal at the moment. That's in the Crewe Alexandria Aston Villa game. Aston Villa lead by a goal to nil. But it hasn't actually come up with who the bloody hell has scored as of yet. But yeah, all it says so far is that Crewe Alexandria lead 1-0. Fulham Southampton in one of the only Premier League games, all Premier League tie. I think it is the only all Premier League tie for today. It is. Well, no, Fulham are not Premier League anymore, are they? Shut up. It's fine. But yeah, Fulham Southampton is goalless. Bristol Rovers Brighton goalless. Top of Leeds Stoke, a fixture from the weekend that is also goalless as well. The big Derby game as well as 0-0. Nottingham Forest Derby County. I don't know why that's not on TV, but yet not Newport at West Ham is. Rochdale have just scored against Carlisle United at Spotland. But yeah, it doesn't say who has scored again. I get this new app, and it turns out to be absolutely shocking. Doesn't even tell me who bloody scored. Yeah. Sheffield United also won the Premier League 0-0. Watford need a win against Coventry for at least some confidence boosting win, I should say, at least, because they are bottom of the Premier League, the only team without a point in the Premier League. They are against Coventry. Norwich away to Crawley, that's goalless as well. Does it say who scored for Villa? No, I thought this app was good, but it actually turns out to be quite shit. Because the tournament is not licensed, as it says. But yeah, so at the moment, those games are what it is. But yeah, Bury could actually be saved because they were given extensions on potentially, on to be taken. But that one who tried to take them over, they pulled out of the running to sign them. But they've got 3 new bids on the table, so they could potentially be saved. It was Aaron Morley scoring for Rochdale. I don't actually think anyone cares about Rochdale. And it was Esri Konsa for Aston Villa scored. What a start to his career. A penalty kick missed at Sheffield United Blackburn. I think Armstrong stepping up must be Blackburn. So as I presume Blackburn have missed a penalty. Michael Antonio has hobbled off injured for West Ham. Looks like his hamstring is gone. Well, where has it gone? That was not funny, I know. Crystal Palace and Colchester still goalless. Arsenal loanee Eddie Nketiah, whatever he is for Leeds, he scored in the first round win at Salford 2 weeks ago. Suns out, guns out at Vicarage Road. But that is all at the minute of those games. So yeah, still those 2 goals. But yeah, so Bury could be saved, but Bolton were given a 5 o'clock deadline today to be taken over, and they said they will update us more later on tonight. So I do actually think that Bolton will go into liquidation, and they will not be a football club by the end of today, which is sad. Really, 145 or 154 years they've been a football team. They were all a top team all throughout my childhood, and it's sad to see that they could be on the verge of going under. No more Bolton, no more football at the Reebok. They did have some fantastic players back in the day. Like Yuri Georgiev, Stelios Giannakopoulos, Kevin Davis, etc., etc. JJ Okocha, UC Yaskalainen. West Ham have hit the post at Newport County. Typically, they're West Ham just doing what West Ham usually do, not really score much. Except for if you're playing Watford, then you'll smash 3 past them. So, I mean, it's not really a good start to the game for West Ham, is it? They had Mikel Antonio hobble off injured, and now they've hit the post. There could be a potential upset on the cards at Crawley against Norwich. Crawley Town have just scored against Premier League new boys Norwich, who were unlucky at the weekend against Chelsea. I can't say they were really comfortably beaten by Liverpool at Anfield on the opening day. They had spells where they were good. And then the game after that, I think they pumped Newcastle 3-1, didn't they? Pookie scoring a hat-trick in that one. So, I mean, they've had not really a bad start to this season. 2 defeats out of 3, where I think if anyone had said that you were going to beat Newcastle, I think it was Newcastle or someone like that, and Pookie was going to score a hat-trick and score at Anfield and nearly hold Chelsea to a draw, he would have probably bit your hand off. It's just got a picture of Saints forward Redmond and Christie in action at Craven Cottage. That's all it says about Fulham Southampton. But yeah, I mean, it could be a strong lineup for Southampton, who I think need a good cup run. But they've got a tough Fulham team. I say tough, but they're struggling in the Championship, aren't they? So yeah, hopefully things turn out well for Bury and Bolton for the season ahead. Okay, I mean they're both going down. If they both miraculously stay in the Football League, they're both going down to League Two, because Bury are on -12 and they're yet to kick a ball this season, while Bolton are now on -11 after fielding the youngest ever football team in their history in a goalless draw to Coventry, and since then they've been battered like 4-0, 5-0, battered 5-0 at the weekend by Ipswich Town. So hopefully they stay in and then they rebuild again from League Two next season, which, I mean, they are doing a Portsmouth, for you happy Southampton fans, probably going to go all the way down to League Two and have to start again. Or they could do a Luton and go all the way down to the National League. Imagine Bolton in the National League at the Reebok Stadium, holding probably like 30,000. Would be some turnout for teams turning up there. But nevertheless, Lubala scoring for Crawley Town. Do we have an upset on the cards? They're saying after 17 minutes. Probably not, but he now has scored against Norwich. That is his 5th of the season thus far. But it says there for Crawley Town, they've scored against Norwich 1-0. I'm keen to see what is going to happen at Nottingham Forest Derby County. That's a big game. That's a derby, that is, and that's goalless as it stands. Brighton, who have not made a bad start to life in the Premier League this season under Darren Potter. I think it's Darren Potter, yeah, some Potter at least. They are goalless away at Bristol Rovers. Palace 0-0, Southampton 0-0, Leeds and Stoke are goalless, West Ham goalless, Sheffield United goalless, Watford Coventry goalless. But Aston Villa have made a strong start, 1-0 up. In that one, so Fulham have made 9 changes against a near full-strength Southampton side, but it's the Championship team of Fulham who have dominated the opening quarter of an hour's play in West London, including hitting the bar early on. Could there also be an upset there at Craven Cottage with Fulham? Southampton, Crew Alexandra nearly equalised against Aston Villa, but Kirk's drive was tipped over. But well, it says tipped over, but it was actually steered over by Steer. Well, I found that quite funny actually, but I'm actually not that funny, but I quite find it funny to be fair. So yeah, Aston Villa winning 1-0 against Crew. I don't think there will really be a upset for them there. Preston have taken the lead. Oh no, in an all championship clash. Okay, there were some championship games. On Preston are beating Hull, and in league elsewhere league. Oh no, an all championship clash. Yeah, Preston are beating Hull, and League Two side Plymouth are in front against Reading. So there could be a upset. You're a beast. I try to be. I try. So yeah, so Preston and Plymouth both winning, where Plymouth could actually cause a upset there against Reading, just like with Crawley Town beating Norwich 1-0. That could be a upset there as well. So Dak is brought down, yes. So that was Blackburn. So Blackburn missed a penalty in the early stages against Sheffield United. Villa are 1-up at Crewe. And really, the only goals, obviously, Preston and Plymouth both just scoring. Paul Huntington for Preston. And for Plymouth, it was Ryan Taylor at home park. But I mean, I'll speak more on the situations with Bolton and Bury. Well, obviously, Bury look more likely to Bury look more likely to be staying in the Football League more than Bolton do, because Bury have got 3 offers on the table. EFL have given them a short another deadline that they have to pass. If they don't, then they are liquidized, obviously. But they accepted a bid from a firm on Friday night, but they pulled out today. But luckily, Bury have had 3 more bids on the table, whilst obviously Bolton were given till 5 o'clock tonight. Well, that obviously deadline has passed, but we don't know what is going on. Have they managed to secure any bids and potential extension from the EFL, or are Bolton Wanderers no longer going to be a football team? That will all be tonight. That would be weird, though. Bolton Wanderers not being a football team. Aston Villa are now 2-0 up away at Crewe, so they are easily sailing into the into the next round of the Carabao Cup. Well, I mean, they should be. They spent over 100 million. Well, I mean, I say that, but yeah, Fulham spent over 100 million last season, and look what happened to them. They got relegated. I don't think Villa will go down this season, because they've actually not had a bad start to the season. Just about losing to Tottenham. They beat Everton on Friday night, which was a good result for them. The goal here was by Connor Hurihan. But it's going to be a long way back for Crewe now, who had looked pretty decent. But yeah, Villa 2 up. It's just probably from now on, how many will Villa actually score rather than Crewe. I don't think I'm that class to be on TV, but thank you anyway. May happen one day. My own show would be class. That. Well, In the East Midlands derby, Nottingham Forest have scored against fierce rivals Derby. Albert Adoma has scored for Nottingham Forest. That's that's my thing. If it's an East Midlands derby, a massive fierce derby, that's not on TV, but they would rather play Newport, who are in Wales, against West Ham, who are in London. Makes sense, huh? Logic, you know. But Forest and Derby, I mean, I watched them on TV last season. That's a great derby. That's an absolute. They are they are cracking games. They are Derby County Forest, but yeah, Forest lead Derby at the minute, which I think Derby were probably favourites to win the game. They will have Wayne Rooney joining them in January. They've got Philippe Cocu as their manager this season after obviously Lampard went back to his boyhood club in Chelsea. So, but at the minute there though, Forest lead through Albert Adoma on 25 minutes strikes for Nottingham Forest. So on all the other Premier League games, they are Brighton 0-0 with Bristol Rovers. Crawley is still beating Norwich, Villa 2 up. Palace goalless with Colchester. Fulham Southampton is goalless. Leeds and Stoke are goalless. Newport County West Ham is goalless. You can watch that on Sky Sports Football. Forest obviously won up with Derby. Sheffield United and Blackburn goalless. And Watford Coventry goalless. I was speaking about Watford before, but I mean, they really do need a win at least today against Coventry. A confidence boosting win. They've lost all three of their. They've got loads. I mean, they are a weird team because look, they were what top 10 last season. They were pushing. They were pushing. They were pushing Wolves all the way for Europa League last season. They pulled that unbelievable comeback in the FA Cup semi-final against Wolves to somehow win the game and to face Man City in the final, which was never a competition. City smashed them 5-0. It's just like from that game, Watford's heads have just gone down because they lost to Brighton at home 3-0 on the opening day. Brighton. And then they lost again in the second game. I'm trying to remember who that was against. And then they lose 3-1 at home to West Ham on the weekend. They are the only team in the Premier League without a single point this season. They are already, 3-4 points off safety after only 3 games. So, I mean, the Premier League started weird this season. Watford, the only team without a point, and my beloved Liverpool are the only Premier League team to have a perfect 100% record, three wins out of 3, which is the first time that has happened ever in the Premier League. For after 3 games, to only have one team on 100% record. The best chance, and I forgot. If he starts their games on a daily basis, I'm not surprised why they are bottom. Danny Welbeck, I've just remembered. I was born into it, man. I was born into it. I love the club, but I was born into it. Frustrating all my life, and now we're finally starting to do good, so I can brag a bit. But yeah, I mean, Danny Welbeck playing for Watford, he's missed a hatful of chances in this first up against Coventry. I'm not surprised why Arsenal. I'm not surprised why Arsenal. Why they released him. I'm not surprised why England don't call him on him anymore. But yeah, Danny Welbeck missing chances for Watford against Coventry there, and Preston have doubled their lead against Hull. Josh Haddop, the former, he's either on loan from Manchester United or he's actually joined Preston on a permanent deal, but he has made it 2-0 there at Deepdale. Sheffield United have just scored against Blackburn, so Blackburn had that early chance from the penalty spot to be beating the new one of the new Premier League clubs, but they missed the penalty, and now Sheffield United have made them pay with a goal. Stearman, after half an hour, has put Sheffield United a goal up against Blackburn. And they look on course for the second round. No, no, for the third round of the Carabao Cup. UTMP. Not a clue. UTMP. What does that stand for? Stoke City. Ah, Stoke. Mighty Potters. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you've not had so much of a good start to the season, unfortunately. But I mean, look, I mean, things will turn them around. I do see Stoke back in the Premier League one day. Obviously, that they were a fantastic team at one stage. You know, Liverpool's been a bogey team for a long time, especially on Steven Gerrard's last game when you humped us 6-1. I will never forget that game. I'm in a hurry. Millwall lead at Oxford. John Daddy Bodvarsson with the goal. And Rochdale are now 2 up against Carlisle. Matt Dunn with the goal. He done it for them. Thank you. To make it 2-0. I'm taking the pit. I think my puns are funny, but they're probably not. But yeah, 2-0 Rochdale now, and Millwall 1 up at Oxford. It's against the run of play while Sheffield United are ahead. Corner came in from the left, and it was palmed straight to Stearman, who then placed his header back into the gaping goal for my favourite Liverpool player currently right now. Well, no, that's actually a tough one, but I would probably have to say my favourite player right now is Firmino. I just think Firmino is absolutely fantastic. He deserves more credit than he actually gets. I know. He's not like an out-and-out striker who will bang you 25, 30 goals a season. But I mean, his hold-up play and the way he draws Mane and like Salah and any other players forward towards the ball, he's just incredible. I think Firmino. He will never get you 25, 30 goals a season, but he'll do more things. He'll get a lot of assists, and he will score maybe 10, 15 goals a season, but he's not like this out and out striker. But yeah, I think Firmino is my favourite player currently at the minute. But yes, Leeds did actually take Stoke to school at the weekend. They did indeed. At Stoke, I think that was, and now they are at Leeds today in the cup, which is goalless. So, yeah, I mean, Bury, for instance, they will obviously not be in the Carabao Cup. They were actually kicked out. Wait, how he has 10 for 10 every game? He's not said in the week. How? Yeah, no, I mean, Firmino is just top class. You know, I mean, he does have a bad game, but I mean, but you hear from him on a pitch more than like some games like Salah. You don't really hear from. Sometimes he's like a ghost. And same with Mane at times, but obviously against Arsenal, it was Firmino's hold up play and drawing in defenders, which obviously gave Salah the goal again. Well, gave the penalty to Liverpool when David Luiz stupidly pulled back Salah. Crystal Palace have just hit the bar. It was Christian Benteke. Bloody hell, Benteke still plays for Palace. Blimey, haven't heard of that guy since he was a flop at Liverpool. Burton Albion are ahead against Morecambe. MK Dons have scored against Southend, and Reading have equalised at Plymouth. Josh Barrett with the goal for the Royals. Reece Healy put MK Dons ahead, and Liam Boyce scored for Burton. So they are 1-0, 1-0, and Reading 1-1 with Plymouth. but yes, but I mean, Bury were kicked out of the Carabao Cup because obviously uncertainty on their obviously uncertainty on their future, and I think that is the same with Bolton as well. No manager repeat. Which one? The Leeds momentum manager, Belize. Pede. Quite funny that actually. It's actually quite hilarious. But yeah, so obviously Brighton. I presume Brighton have fielded a weaker team against Bristol Rovers. That's why they are goalless. Southampton have fielded very strong, a strong team for the game against Fulham, and you know they just can't buy a goal in this game at the minute. You know they were lucky against Brighton because Brighton had that red card, which I mean it was a red card and Donate, but then they managed to get 2 goals and win the game. A confidence boosting goal for Watford. They've scored against Coventry City, only their second goal this season as well. Nottingham Forest are now 2-0 up against Derby in the East Midlands Derby. Joe Lolly put them 2-0 up, while Hull City have pulled a goal back against Preston. John McGuinness converts a penalty. So 2-1 Preston there. What are you drinking? Some vodka? No, just a Pepsi Max. Just a Pepsi Max. Ain't drinking today, like. So they are the scores so far there. West Ham still goalless as well. Palace still goalless. Brighton goalless. Still not yet to come up who has scored for Watford. Just waiting on that one. Still waiting on that one. It was Sarr after 37 minutes who has scored for Watford. Sarr must be a new signing. So yeah, I mean nothing has been said yet about Bolton. And right, so I'll be back in 2 ticks. Oh. Sorry about that, guys. I just needed a piss. So anything else happened since I've gone? So yes, Sarr has scored for Watford. Isaac, the goal has been coming as Isaac Success, gorgeous ball finds their £40 million record signing. You spent £40 million on someone, and they can't win a game within the Premier League. And he calmly side foots the ball into the back of the net for his first goal on his 40 million, and his first game is in the Carabao Cup against Coventry City. But look, Garcia wants to play him only in the cup, then that's fair play. Sorry, man, but that's fair play to him. But 1-0 Watford. Oh, Stoke have scored against Leeds. Very few managers need a win more than Nathan Jones tonight, and Stoke are in front at Leeds. Danny Bath heading in from a Sam Fluker's corner. Big goal that for Stoke. MK Dons have doubled their lead at struggling Southend. Callum Bretton making it 2-0 to MK Dons. Okay, this will still be a big win for Stoke, but I don't actually think Leeds will care as much because it's only a cup game for Leeds. I don't think they will care as much as they would if it was a league game. But I mean, for Stoke, this is a massive goal from Danny Bath, Nathan Jones, who I think is actually not a bad manager. He's just been thrown into some uncertainties at Stoke, but anyway, Stoke are ahead, so this could actually be a confidence boosting goal, potentially win, that could propel Stoke to potentially do like a Norwich and a Sheffield United, potentially even challenge for promotion. It's still early days; it's still possible, but no one would have even picked Sheffield United or Derby or Norwich last season to go up because that was favourites were obviously like Villa, Leeds, West Brom, Middlesbrough, Derby, all over like instead of like Sheffield United and that. But yeah, but nothing still yet has been said about Bolton. But yeah, Bury looks all right. They've got 3 new bids on the table for them to potentially be safe. Luton have scored. Luton got their first win of the season at the weekend, and now they're beating Cardiff. Junior Hoylett has scored an own goal to put the Hatters Luton Town ahead. You know, he's someone who looked to have a promising future one day was Junior Hoylett, but he's now at Cardiff under Neil Warnock. Because I mean, I was discussing at the start of the season about managers like a Neil Warnock and a Steve Bruce. They are managers for the Championship. They were built for the Championship. They weren't built for the Premier League. Like Neil Warnock, I mean, Sheffield United a few times, Cardiff now. He just can't seem to keep a club up really that much. And if he does, it's like maybe a season. Just like Steve Bruce. He tried it with Birmingham. Okay. I think it worked with Birmingham for ages because Birmingham was that team that suited him. But then, he tried it with Sunderland. Didn't really work that much. He's now trying it at their fierce rivals Newcastle, which I think was like the most silliest appointment in the world. From Rafa to Steve Bruce. But look, man, it seems to be working so far with just one win of the season, and that was beating Tottenham 1-0 at the weekend. Stoke are now 2-0 up against Leeds. 2-0 to Stoke. Sam Vokes. It's getting even better for Stoke. And that's not something that they've said for a while. They lead 2-0 at Championship pace setters Leeds. Sam Vokes makes it 2-0 to Stoke. West Ham have scored against Newport County right before half time. So, I think Leeds need a miracle team talk from Marco Bilise at half time. Burton are now 2 up at Morecambe as well. League One Burton have doubled their lead against League Two Morecambe, and it's another from Liam Boyce. He is on a hat trick for Burton Albion now. So yeah, Leeds are now losing 2-0. Burton are 2 up at Morecambe. West Ham have just scored against Newport County as well. And I did say that Luton were winning against Cardiff through a Junior Hoylett own goal. Yeah, so MK Dons are 2 up at Southend. Forest 2-0 up against Derby. Sheffield United and Watford both 1 up. Fulham, Southampton goalless. Palace, Colchester goalless. Villa 2 up. Crawley Town so far with the knock of the night. They are beating a Premier League side Norwich 1-0. And Bristol Rovers are goalless with Brighton. And it's half time at Palace. Palace 0, Colchester 0 at half time. Doesn't yet say who was scored for West Ham United, but that will come up. Goalless first up at Selhurst Park. No way through their No way through there. League Two opposition yet for Crystal Palace, and it seems like they've got like a strongish type of team. You know, Benteke playing and all that. Half time at Craven Cottage as well. Fulham nil, Southampton nil as well. Um, Goalless as well at half time at Bristol Rovers Brighton 0-0. Brighton have made an all right start under Darren Potter, who came in from Swansea, who I did slate at the start of the season, saying how could he have come in when he was doing such a piss poor job at Swansea. But he seemed to do okay so far for Brighton. You know, a win on the opening day, a good point against West Ham. Could have been a win if it wasn't for VAR, and then Andone let them down against West Ham at the weekend. So yeah, at the Memorial Ground, Brighton being held by the League One hosts. It was Jack Wilshere who has put West Ham ahead, and it is half time there, by the way. Newport nil at West Ham 1 at half time against the runner play. And the Hammers lead thanks to Jack Wilshere's first goal for 601 days. Midfield takes advantage of a mistake in the back line to glide through on goal and roll the ball past the keeper into the back of the net. 601 days since his last goal for the club. That's quite an impressive stat, to be fair. You know, for someone who was tipped to be Arsenal and England's next biggest thing, clearly not. Clearly not. So, yeah, but it is half time there now. Newport nil, West Ham 1. Well, goals are coming in just on the stroke of half time at Sheffield United. They are 2-0 up now against Blackburn. They are safely through. And if Crew could have maybe fought 2-0, we may potentially force a fight back. That's over. They are now 3-0 down to Aston Villa. Conor Hurihan again with his second of the night. Crew nil, Villa into the third round. Watford, it says a 0-0 at half time, but pretty sure they are 1 up unless the goal was chalked off, which it doesn't look like that it had been. No, it does say 1-0. The goal has been coming as successes, gorgeous through ball found. Yeah, their record signing Saar. So that one is wrong there, saying 0-0. Half time now at Sheffield United, so they had the last action of the game with that second goal. I don't know who scored it, hasn't come up yet, but Hurihan has put Villa 3-0 up against Crew. But still the upset of the first half. Well, upsets of the first half. Obviously, Stoke winning 2-0 at Leeds. That is kind of an upset based on Stoke's recent run of form and Leeds being the pace setters. And Crawley Town beating Premier League team Norwich 1-0. They are the two upsets so far of this half. I don't see any way back for Blackburn. I don't see any way back for Crewe Alexandra, or for Derby, or for Leeds. It looks like game over just before the break. Conor Hurihan has his second of the night as he sneaks into the 6-yard box and kneels to head in. A long, long way back now for Crewe. And as I did say, when it went 2-0, I said, how many more will Villa score? Well, there's the third. They've still got 45 more minutes to play as well. So it's been changed now, 1-0 at halftime there at Coventry. Now it's halftime at Aston Villa as well. Well, not at Villa, but at Crewe, 3-0. It was Oliver Norwood has put Sheffield United 2-0 up. Great play down the left by, I presume that is Ravel Morrison. Quick feet taken past a posse of players. From there, he pulled it back, and there was Norwood to fire a volley into the bottom right-hand corner. 2-0 Sheffield United at Blackburn. So all games are virtually half-time. Now, I just haven't seen the half-time one yet at Crawley against Norwich, or Forest Derby, still not half-time yet anyway. So yeah, Sheffield United in control half time. Bradley Duck saw an early penalty saved for Blackburn, and from there the Blades took control with Richard Stearman and Ollie Norwood bagging in the goals for Sheffield United. As Ismaila Sarr strikes his first goal for the club, the record signing for Watford. And Villa 3-0 up at half-time as well. So they are pretty comfortable. If I to say the least, they are pretty comfy. And I know in control at half-time, Kiri Konsa opened the scoring on his debut, while Conor Hurahan has added 2 more for Villa. I'm pretty sure there are some Carabao Cup ties on tomorrow as well. Bournemouth, Forest Green, Burnley, Sunderland, Lincoln City of League One up against Everton, Newcastle, Leicester, QPR, Portsmouth, Rotherham, Sheffield United, Swansea, Cambridge. This could be the shock of the night. League Two side Crawley are in front against Premier League time Norwich thanks to Bez Lubala, putting Crawley ahead there in the 17th minute, but it's half-time now, 1-0 Crawley. But yeah, there are second-round Carabao Cup ties on tomorrow. Bournemouth, Forest Green, Burnley, Sunderland, Lincoln City, Everton, which is the live one, Newcastle, Leicester, the only all-Premier League tie on tomorrow night, QPR, Portsmouth, Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, and Swansea against Cambridge, while there is also Champions League qualifying games on tomorrow. Ajax, Apoel, Club Brugge, someone else, and Slavia Prague against Cluj, who knocked out Celtic. Thursday, there is Europa League games. Celtic, don't know why Celtic in the playoffs there against AIK. Rangers against Legia Warsaw and Wolves against Torino. So can Wolves make it into the knockout stages? And then on Friday night, Championship football, Cardiff, Fulham. Fulham doing all right tonight so far against Southampton, but Cardiff not doing so well, being behind through an own goal against Luton. That was it. The weekend, though, Southampton, Manchester United is the early one in the Premier League. Chelsea, Sheffield United, Palace, Villa, Leicester, Bournemouth, City, Brighton, Newcastle, Watford, West Ham, Norwich, and the late one is Burnley, Liverpool. Burnley, not an easy place to go to. Then on Sunday, Everton, Wolves, and the big London derby, Arsenal, Tottenham. Northern Irish football next Monday, and then next Tuesday, no, it's still National League football, Leasings.com trophy. Bury are still actually listed in that against Tranmere. Bolton also listed in that against Bradford. They could both not be without a club by the end of today, which means I don't see that happening for Bury, but maybe for Burnley I do. Burnley, Bolton. See, too many B's in in English football. Too many teams beginning with B. So then I get obviously all confused. It's actually just mentioning Burnley twice because they play tomorrow and they play Saturday tea time against Liverpool. So yeah, every game so far is half time. Just waiting for the second halves there. So yeah, no new updates so far that I've been told about or heard about for Bury and Bolton. I think you might hear more about Bolton tonight. They will reveal if they've had any offers on the table and if the EFL are going to if the EFL are at all going to give them a extension, or they will reveal if they are, or not if that they are no longer a football team after 145 years in training as Bolton Wanderers. So yeah, they could be liquidized by the end of tonight. But then I do think they will do what like most clubs do. They will just start a team from scratch all over again and just use the Reebok Stadium as their stadium. They have to. Or if not, then Bolton just do not have a football team anymore. If I was rich enough, I would take over Bolton and Bury just to save them. No one wants to see a team get liquidized. I don't care if they are your biggest rivals. You want matches against them. You want rivalry matches against them. You don't just want to. You just don't want to see them getting liquidized because it's funny. It's not that funny, but anyway, in the Carabao Cup, so far all half-time scores: Burton nil, Morecambe. No, Burton 2, sorry, Morecambe nil. Villa 3 up away at Crewe. Grimsby, Macclesfield are goalless. Stoke 2 up away at Leeds. Forest 2 up at home to Derby. Preston 2-1 at Hull. Rochdale 2 up at Carlisle. Sheffield United 2 up at home to Blackburn. Bristol Rovers 0-0 Brighton. Luton leading away at Cardiff. Crawley 1 up in the shock of the round so far against Norwich. Palace, Colchester, Fulham, Southampton both goalless, and Newport losing 1-0 to West Ham. Oxford United losing to Millwall 1-0. Plymouth 1-0 with Reading. Southend losing 2-0 at home to MK Dons, and Watford 1 up at Coventry. So second half should be getting underway literally very, very soon here in the Carabao Cup. But as I was saying at the start of the video, I've never done a live football one like this in my life. So I was just sat bored, and I just thought, you know what, I'll go live for the Carabao Cup. Given my live scores and reactions to them. So I just thought I'd do it, and if I remember, I should remember. Obviously, I'll do it tomorrow for the Carabao Cup. I don't tend to do it for the Premier League because I'm either watching the games or I'm busy on the weekends. So I don't tend to do it then. But I mean, if there were Premier League games during the week, then I may start to do them during the week. Especially if they kick up at 7:45, 8 o'clock. Hopefully, my daughter is in bed by then. So hopefully, I will tonight. So hopefully, I will have time to start doing more of these live ones. So as we are half time and before the second half starts, if you do like the video, remember to give the video a like and to subscribe to the channel. It would be very much appreciative. If there's anything you would like me to do, like a video, like football video wise, or how you think I can improve my videos, you can either put them in the live chat now, well, not like right this second. If you don't want to, you can either put them in the live chat or put them in the comments section below. You can follow me on Twitter at the Oliver James. So yeah, I mean, I will probably say the same things at full time as well, or maybe during the second half if games start getting boring. So yeah, it would be much appreciative if you did like and subscribe to the channel. So, whilst these games are probably all about to come out for the second half, so for the 3 o'clock games in the Premier League on the weekend, I do Super 6, and I'll talk about it right now. Whilst obviously these games are either half time or they're just kicking off. I've done well. Obviously, Chelsea Sheffield United is one game in the Super 6. I put Chelsea to win the game 3-1 at home. I think they will now go on maybe a confidence boosting run after that good performance against Liverpool in the Super Cup. They were hung out to dry at Old Trafford. The next game after that, did they draw? Yes, against Leicester 1-1, where they were quite poor, but then they were not really that convincing against Norwich on the weekend, but they still managed to come through and win the game. So I've gone for 3-1 Chelsea to win that one. Palace Villa, I've gone for 2-2. Leicester Bournemouth 2-1. Brighton, I've gone for 5-1 Brighton. No, I'm joking, 5-1 Man City. Gone for Watford to pick up their first win of the season away at Newcastle, because I've got no faith in Steve Bruce whatsoever. So, as a part of my Super 6, I've done Watford to win 2-1 at Newcastle. and I've gone for West Ham to draw 2-2 with Norwich. So that was Chelsea to win 3-1 against Sheffield United, Palace and Villa 2-all, Leicester to beat Bournemouth 2-1, Man City to win 5-1 against Brighton because they are still leaking goals here in Man City. Watford to get their first league win of the season against Newcastle 2-1. And I think West Ham and Norwich will play out a 2-2 draw in those ones. So yeah, second halves are virtually underway. Still waiting on goals from Crystal Palace and Colchester. Still waiting on goals at Fulham and Southampton. Still waiting on goals from Grimsby and Macclesfield. And Bristol Rovers Brighton. Just those 4 games that are goalless. The shock of the round so far, or the shock of the day so far, is Crawley Town, League 2 Crawley Town 1. Premier League New Boys Norwich 0. I bet Daniel Farke must be doing his nut in that changing room. How can they be 1-0 down to League 2 Crawley? But that would be a fantastic win for Crawley. Just think of the money that they could get as well for beating a Premier League team, and as well as advancing to the third round of the League Cup, where they could get the top 6. They could get a tie to maybe Anfield, to maybe Tottenham Hotspur, to the Etihad, to the Emirates, to Stamford Bridge, to Old Trafford, to face the big boys, or they could just get a simple tie maybe against the League One team and maybe go on to the 4th round and start like maybe a little run. I do think that the Carabao Cup does produce the odd shock, but it's nothing like the FA Cup. The FA Cup produces wonderful shocks year in, year out, and I love the FA Cup to bits. Just watching that sometimes, and they've got like a League 2 team on like BBC One against like a Premier League team. The money they would get for getting television rights, let alone obviously entertaining like Premier League teams. The fans would be queuing up for that, just like probably at Crawley Town, and to be beating Norwich. All the games are back underway in the second half. There. So yeah, I mean, and Newport and Crawley and Bristol Rovers, their stadiums must be absolutely chocker. To have Brighton, West Ham, and obviously Norwich at your stadium this early in the season in a League Cup game, and for Crawley's sake to be winning, and obviously for Crawley's sake to be winning, it's just absolutely fantastic for them. And also Crewe. I mean, it would have been good for Crewe to have Villa come into their stadium, but maybe not now because they're pumping them 3-0 anyway. So yeah, we're back underway in the second half. All the scores as they are. Still waiting on some goals, as I've said before that. What would I have said would have been the pick of the day, like the game of the day? I'll say it. Ollie Stain. I know, yeah, I can be. Thank you. I do think the game of the day is Nottingham Forest against Derby. But Forest 2-0 up there. Leeds getting beat 2-0 by Stoke, which is incredibly brilliant for Stoke, who need a confidence boosting win. But yeah, no, I do think if I had to pick a game of the day, it would be Forest Derby, because it's a East Anglian derby. Oh, hello, Aidan. You wanted me to shout you out, so there's a shout out to you. Welcome to the live stream. Thank you for joining. And up the Saints. Well, I mean, they ain't going up yet or down. They're still goalless, with a very strong team against Fulham, who will have made 9 changes. Maybe they are just waiting on Djempo to do something in probably the second half when they bring him on, just like against Brighton. So yeah, no second half goals as of yet in these ones. Conor Hurrihan won a hat-trick for Villa. He's got 2. Um, there's also another guy on a hat-trick. I think it's for Burton Albion. Yeah, Liam Boyce is also on a hat-trick. And Jack Wilshere, the story of the night. Jack Wilshere scoring for West Ham against Newport. His first goal for 601 days. 601 days. And he was meant to be Arsenal and England's biggest biggest talent. He's clearly not a big talent now. And so after 601 days, congrats, Jack. You finally scored a goal. And, if it's something he's very proud of to score against a League Two team in Newport County, then fair play to him. But I would probably score against Newport County, and I suck. Just being honest. So yeah, I mean, until any goals come in, which is nothing yet. Still, obviously, no updates yet on Bolton Wanderers or Djempo started. Well, I mean, I do think Djempo is probably better coming off the bench then, because Southampton fielded a strong team, so they should be winning against a struggling Fulham team. But maybe they were just giving Fulham some hope in the first half, and then they'll come out and crush them in the second half. Him and Buffal. Well, I mean, for me, this means nothing now. Buffal, I've got him in my fantasy team. He won't get points for this, but I mean, he did get an assist, I think, for Djempo's goal against Brighton, so he would have given me a bit of points there. Oh no, Buffal is quality. Yeah, that's why I picked him. But hopefully, he starts or plays more in the Premier League. Redmond's goal, that was it. Redmond. Burton Albion are now 3-0 up. Sort your shit out. Well, I do know Djempo and Redmond scored, but I didn't know which one he assisted in your only win of the season. So Burton Albion are now 3-0 up at Morecambe. They are through. You can just say Ryan Edwards scoring their third at the Pirelli Stadium. Rip. I know. It would also be a rip if Fulham win. So Jack Wilshere scores his first goal for 601 days since Arsenal's 2-2 draw against who? In January 2018. It's his first League Cup goal for almost... Wow, what absolute shocker. It's his first goal in the League Cup for almost 11 years, since his first senior career start for Arsenal in a 6-0 win against Sheffield United in September 2008. So, well, man, he's breaking many records now, isn't he? It's his first goal since Arsenal's 2-2 draw against Chelsea 601 days ago. But it's also his first goal in the League Cup, the Worthington Cup, the Carabao Cup, whatever it has been called in that 11 years since his last goal 11 years ago against Sheffield United. But yeah, well done, Wilshere. So yeah, just one goal in the second half so far. That is Burton Albion now making it 3-0 against Morecambe. Ryan Edwards with that one. But yeah, so I mean, I really, really hope Bolton and Bury can sort their shit out and get some people to buy them. Okay, Bury obviously not really any affiliation to me at all, but I mean, you just don't want to see a team getting liquidized during the season. Because then I don't know how that would work. Because if them and Bolton are both kicked out of the league, that would probably class them as being relegated. So then would League One then go on 22 teams and just have one relegation place? Which, I mean, yeah, no, League One usually has 4 teams relegated. Yeah, so just 2 relegation places then. Well, I mean, they would probably work something out, wouldn't they? Millwall are now 2-0 up. at Oxford. John Daddy Bodvarsson again gets his second of the night. I hate these Icelandic names. And Southend have pegged MK Dons back to 2-1. Brandon Goodship with the goal. And Bristol Rovers were probably hoping for a upset. That ain't happening at the minute. They have conceded at home to Brighton and Hove Albion, who have made a fairly okayish start under Darren Potter. I think it's Darren Potter anyway. And I think it's the new signing from Portsmouth, Connolly, with the goal after 55 minutes there for Brighton. So, nearly an hour of potentially, not doing anything. Now they finally scored, so they can sigh a bit easier for now. Brighton break the Bristol Rovers resistance as Yabaginash's long-range effort deflects very kindly into the path of Aaron Connolly, who arrived unmarked in the box to tuck it home for Brighton. Bristol Rovers 0, Brighton 1 now. That's them. So now there was that goal, still waiting on goals from Fulham, Southampton, still goalless at Craven Cottage, although it has been all Fulham against a strong-looking Saints team. Southampton keeper just having to pull up a save from Christie, though, from Cyrus Christie, I think it is. So yeah, still goalless there, but Fulham have been all over a strong-looking Saints team. I bet there are nerves for all you Southampton fans. So yeah, still waiting on goal for that one. Still waiting on a goal from Selhurst Park for Palace, who are goalless now at Colchester. Well, now still goalless. Still goalless for them as well. Clearly hasn't updated Sheffield United's second goal against Blackburn here, or Jack Wilshere's historic 601st day goal. Not 601st goal ever, because he ain't that fucking good. But yeah. So those are the scores on the doors at the moment. Remember, if there are no goals, if the games are draws, it goes into extra time and penalties, which I will stay streaming for, just in case there is. So at the minute, does there look like any could be going to draws? A rain delay at Grimsby. Well, look, man, they're not a Premier League team. They don't have all this probably under. Have to be careful with this one. Underfloor heating. I was nearly about to say underwater heating. Underfloor heating. Southampton have just scored against Fulham, by the way. They did say that Fulham were all over Southampton, but Southampton have just scored. I will be on that one in a minute because there is a rain delay at Grimsby Town. It's chucking it down in Grimsby. They haven't come out since half time, but the game against Macclesfield might not continue if that's because of a bit of rain. I mean, have you seen the video that they've put onto Twitter? That is a lot of bloody rain for Grimsby Town. So that game could actually be delayed. And if I was Grimsby Town, I would probably take that because I think they were goalless, weren't they? Obafemi has scored for Southampton just before the hour mark. Fulham 0, Southampton 1. Confidence boosting goal potentially. And I say it's game over now at Vicarage Road. Watford 2-0 up now against Coventry. 3 games prior in the league without a win. Now they are 2 up at League 2 Coventry. So yeah, Southampton have just scored through Obafemi, and now Watford are 2 up at Coventry. And that rain delay at Grimsby, it may get postponed. It is abandoned, but it is delayed at the minute. And Daryl Janmat has made it 2-0 Watford. Watford are on their way to an important first win of the season for Javi Gracia. Daryl Janmat takes 2 touches in the box and thunders the ball home past Coventry. I think now that could be game over for them as well. But Obafemi Finally, a breakthrough at Craven Cottage with the unmarked Obafemi in the right place at the right time to side foot from virtually on the goal line. So yeah, he basically couldn't. He couldn't have missed. But anyway, a goal's a goal. Southampton will take it. The unmarked Obafemi, and it's not Obafemi Martin. It's just Obafemi is in the right place at the right time on the goal line to score for Southampton 1-0 there. But as it stands, only Crystal Palace Colchester, and I think so far, if the Grimsby Macclesfield game does continue at some point, them two would be the only games that would be going into extra time. So maybe I might get my first football live stream to end without any extra time, or I will even stay on even if it is just the Grimsby Macclesfield one going into extra time. I will stay live for that because it's a Carabao Cup tie, so I have to pretend like I care for those games because it's a cup tie. So yeah, but big goal there for Southampton, and a second big goal for Watford through Daryl Janmat. So we're still about over half hour to play. There are still chances for Bristol Rovers to force extra time, Norwich to put a goal back and potentially force extra time. There is still time for Crewe Alexandra to score 4 goals and knock out Villa. Don't see that happening. There is still time for Leeds to get 2 and peg Stoke back to extra time. Still a lot of time for Newport County to score a second to get an equaliser at West Ham, and for Derby. But I will say for Crewe, Leeds, I think Derby, I think it's over for them. Blackburn and Coventry, it's probably all game over for them, with all being 2-0 and 3-0 downs respectively there. But let's hope that the Grimsby and Macclesfield game does not get abandoned due to this rain delay. Let's hope they can continue, because they will have to come back at a later date to continue the game from half time, with it being 0-0. So they are the scores at the minute on the doors. I did wish, and I had like a few people here who I could talk to, to be on the stream and who could be watching the game, giving their updates, on the games. But I'm not that much of a good YouTuber as of yet to have that. I mean, I would love that at some point, to have like maybe 1 or 2 guests on a show to be watching a pick a game, a pick of their game, their pick of the game. But Grimsby Macclesfield has been abandoned. The rain is too heavy at Brundle Park, and the referee has called this one off at half time. So now we are 1 game down. So it looks like, apart from Palace Macclesfield, Palace Colchester, apart from that, looks like, because obviously if they manage to get a goal, looks like I won't be staying on for extra time until potentially now. Bristol Rovers have equalised against Premier League side Brighton, 1-1 there. I was saying that there was enough time for them to get a goal and potentially force extra time, just like Norwich, just like Fulham, just like Newport County. But it's Bristol Rovers that have done it. Grimsby and Macclesfield, unfortunately, abandoned due to heavy rain. So they will have to come back at a later time to finish the game from half time. I mean, it would be weird if they restarted the whole game again. I would think that is weird, because they played 45 minutes, so they should come back and finish off the second 45 minutes on a night when it's not raining. Bristol Rovers have barely had a shot at goal, but they've levelled against Brighton. Tom Nichols does brilliantly to take a touch just inside the box, then hits an unstoppable dipping drive. So that's a goal that I will have to check out, because it sounds unbelievable, to be fair, Bristol Rovers. But they are level nonetheless against Brighton with 25 minutes left to play in that one. 1-1. Could they be going to extra time? There was a game which I did forget about, which could have been going to extra time, but Jose Baxter has given Plymouth the lead against Reading. It's now 2-1 to Plymouth, and Luton are now 2 up at Cardiff as Alan Sheehan strikes after Luton took the lead for a Junior Hoyler own goal in the first half. Luton now look set to be on their way to the Carabao Cup third round. Could they be joined by Plymouth? And more importantly, a shock upset. Could they still be joined by Crawley, who looks set to have, or who looks set to potentially beat Norwich? Because it's still 1-0. On that one. And I was saying also about Newport County, that they could potentially, that they had enough time to get a potential equaliser to force it, to potentially force extra time, or maybe go on and win the game. That's over. They are now 2-0 down to Premier League opposition West Ham, who are looking now for 2 straight wins in all competitions. 3 games unbeaten after their poor start to the season when they got beat 5-0 on the opening day by Manchester City. Then they went to Brighton and drew 1-1, beat a brilliant win against Watford at the weekend, and now they are 2 up against League Two Newport County, where I think that is game, set and match. West Ham and Manuel Pellegrini will be in to the third round, where I think he did win this as manager of Manchester City as well. So he's got a good affiliation with the League Cup. Just it wasn't called the Carabao Cup at the time. So yeah, 2-0 West Ham now. Still has not said yet who is the goal scorer. Any money? Imagine it being Jack Wilshere again. He couldn't strike 1 goal in 601 days, and then he strikes 2 in 1 game against their league team. It would be some. It would definitely probably earn him a recall, because Gareth Southgate, any England player who starts English player who starts to do well, that's it. They are straight back in the team. What? So if Wayne Rooney starts scoring 20 goals for Derby, will he be asked to come out of a retirement? Probably. But 2-0 West Ham as it stands, still waiting on the goal scorer in that one. So yeah, Grimsby, Macclesfield abandoned, as I did update you on that one. It's 4-0 after good build-up play down the left between Wilshere and Felipe Anderson, who came on early in the first half for the injured Mikel Antonio. And the cutback is tucked down by 4-0 from about 6 yards out. So Newport County are 2-0 down to West Ham. So the scores at the minute: Bristol Rovers 1, Brighton 1, Crawley still 1 up at Norwich, Crewe 0, Villa 3, Palace 0, Colchester 0, Fulham 0, Southampton 1, still through Obafemi's goal. Leeds 0, Stoke 2, Newport 0, West Ham 2, Forest 2, Derby 0, Sheffield United 2, Blackburn 0, and Watford 2, Coventry 0. Plymouth 2-1 up at Reading, Luton 2 up at Cardiff. The Grimsby Macclesfield game has been called off due to heavy rain at half time. Well, I mean, it was goalless, so I bet the rain just thought, it's been a boring first half. I'll spice things up here and just absolutely thundered down, which it clearly done, but it's abandoned the game. So yeah, so as it stands so far, I could be staying a little bit longer live tonight if Palace Colchester stay goalless, and if Bristol Rovers Brighton stay at 1-1, then yeah, if there is extra time games, I'm still here. Because if they go into penalties, it would be the first penalty shootout on my live channel. So yeah, it's looking all good so far. But anyway, as no goals, as I've updated you on the goals so far. Remember, if you like what you've seen so far, remember to give a like to the channel, and you can also subscribe as well. That would be much appreciative. If there's any way where you think I can do better, or if there's anything you want to see from inside the football world, or I can make the channel any better, you can either tell me in a live chat to my right, probably your left on screen, or in the comment section down below. And you can also follow me on Twitter at the Oliver James. Yeah, so yeah, you can, if you want to, you can like and subscribe to the channel, which I would be very thankful for. And if there's any ways that you think I can do better with the channel, or anything you want to see, either in the live chat or in the comments down below, which would be much appreciative as well. And following me on Twitter would be appreciative as well, at the Oliver James. So yeah, no more goals at the moment as it stands so far. Well, a goal at Ellen Road. It's another shocker for Jack Butland, the future. He could have been a future Premier League top 6 star. He could have been a future England star. And he's made yet another howler. He is back in the side for Stoke tonight after he missed the game at the weekend when Stoke got beat 3-0. But the luck is not with him. Really a poor attempted clearance hits his defender and bounces back to Eddie Nketiah, who then nutmegs Butland on the edge of the area before running through and poking the ball into the empty net. Leeds now just trail only 2-1 to Stoke. They could be either trying to force extra time, or even go on and do one better and not want to play 120 minutes of football. They are now just only 2-1 behind. Watford have now gone 3-0 up at Coventry. Penaranda, yes. How do you bloody say his name? Penaranda makes it 3-0. Watford and Crewe Alexandra are now 4-0 down to Villa. Davies with the goal after 69 minutes. 20 minutes of those games still to play. Villa 4-0 up now. They are cruising. They are crushing Crewe. And Watford are now crushing Coventry, to be fair. They are now 3-0 up through Penaranda. 3-0 there. Leeds, remember, just got a goal back at Stoke. 2-1. Butland left out of the side at the weekend. They lost 3-0. He's back in the side tonight. Seemed to have done well for over an hour. Concedes one goal, and I reckon that could get Stoke on the receiving end of a potential extra time or comeback for Leeds. It's all too easy for Villa. Grealish on as a sub, dances down the left and puts in the low ball for Keenan Davies to thump in to the back of the net for 4-0 there. Luton are cruising at Cardiff City Stadium. They are heading for the third round of the Carabao Cup. Now 3-0 up now as Jake Jervis gets his first goal for Luton. Luton 3, Cardiff 0 at the minute. I mean, I sort of want a extra time and penalties. Sort of do. Of course I do. I would love extra time or penalties to happen so I can stay longer. Streaming to all of you lovely people and everything. But at the minute, there's only 2 games which could do that for me at the minute. Because Luton are now 3 up at Cardiff, so I don't see a comeback for them. Could be a fourth. Could be a third one if Leeds get one more goal to equalise at Stoke. They're 2-1 up at the minute. Newport, I think, are game over because now they're 2 down. Watford are 3 up at Coventry. And as I've just said, Luton are cruising at Cardiff. They are 3-0 up away at Cardiff, which is unbelievable for them. It's coming up to 9:15. Still ain't heard anything from Bury or Bolton Wanderers. If I hear anything on this live chat, during this live stream, I will let you all know. But if not, then you will probably either hear it tomorrow or I'll put up a video about it or I'll put up a video about it later tonight, or I'll just do one tomorrow, maybe before before the other Carabao Cup round 2 games tomorrow, where we see Lincoln City, Everton, and more like QPR, Portsmouth, and that. But as I'm saying about extra time, I think some of these games could be granting me a good wish, because Sheffield United 2, Blackburn 1. Blackburn have pulled a goal back through Gallagher, 72 minutes on the clock. Still about 16 minutes left to play. Blackburn have pulled a goal back. Things are getting interesting now. Interesting at Ellen Road, where it's 2-1. Interesting at Bramall Lane, where it's 2-1. Interesting at Palace 0-0. Interesting at Bristol Rovers 1-1. Crawley Norwich is still 1-0. So Norwich could get a goal there. Norwich could get a goal there and potentially force extra time. But yes, Luton Town are 3-0 up to Cardiff. They are thumping Cardiff at Cardiff City, and Liam Boyce has just scored a hat-trick as Burton Albion are now 4-0 up against Morecambe. 4-0 Burton. Liam Boyce with a hat-trick in the Carabao Cup today, the first hat-trick of this second round. So yeah, game on as Armstrong picks out the run of Gallagher in the 6-yard box, and his looping header finds the back of the net. It drops into the back of the net. So Blackburn back in the game at Bramall Lane, 2-1 Sheffield United. Now, so Sheffield United were looking to be cruising into the second round, but Blackburn have pegged them back a bit here. Would be good to see potentially 2-2. So yeah. So as I was saying, Burton now being cruising into the third round. They were semi-finalists 2-3 years ago against Manchester City, where they got beat 9-1, I think, at the City of Manchester, or 9-0 something, which I did think was a bit harsh on Burton. But if that was Liverpool, I wouldn't have given 2 hoots, to be honest. But I mean, they look like they are recapturing that form, that maybe if they reach another semi-final against Man City, they may score 4 or 9 against them. I'm just joking. I'm just trying to make this channel a little bit enjoyable, to give people a chance to laugh at my stupid comments or jokes. But yeah, Burton 4-0 up at Morecambe anyway there, and they are cruising into the Carabao Cup third round. Well, there could still be extra time at Reading. Well, at Plymouth, I should say, because Reading have just equalised at Plymouth. It's now 2-2. Josh Barrett has scored his second of the game. He's doing a Conor Hourihan. He is hunting for a hat-trick. And Carlisle have a sliver of hope at Rochdale. As Jack Bridges' penalty pegs Rochdale back. It's now 2-1 at Scotland. If Carlisle can get another goal, then that could be another extra time game heading there. Carlisle 2-1 now, 2-1 down still, but they pegged a goal back. And Reading have equalised at League 1 or League 2 Plymouth. I think it's League 2 Plymouth. It's now 2-2 for Reading. Well, 2-2 Reading, Plymouth. Josh Barrett with his second of the game and his second of the night. So yeah, still that one goal for Southampton. Obafemi with that goal earlier in the second half for Southampton. Still though, the shock of the night, Crawley 1, Norwich 0. They scored after 17 minutes. Still nothing. Still no sort of comeback yet for Norwich. No goal for them. Haven't heard really much about the game, so I just presume Crawley just seemed a bit comfortable with the ball. But this could be the shock of the night, let alone the shock of the round, because there's still games tomorrow which could cause a upset, like Lincoln City beating Everton, which I would love to see that. And then that would probably be one of the shocks of the round as well, because Everton are meant to be a top 8 team, losing to to the new boys in League One, Lincoln, tomorrow, hopefully. But that one is live on Sky Sports main event and Sky Sports football. For you, if you would rather watch that, then you can, or if you want to join me again tomorrow night for another Carabao Cup round 2 live scores and reactions video. I will be here obviously a lot earlier than I was today, because I did have Wi-Fi problems for about 10 minutes before obviously I started the stream. That's why I came in about 10-15 minutes into the games. It's just getting better. It's getting worse for Crew, but better for Aston Villa. There's still 15 minutes to go, and Villa are now 5-0 up. Aston Villa have a fifth short corner. Short corner from Fred finds Frederick Gullibert, who takes a touch out of his feet and curls an absolute perler or beauty into the top corner. Crew have plugged away tonight, but have been taken apart time and time again, quite clearly, as they are 5-0 down to at home to Aston Villa. Is there going to be a 6th goal from Villa? Is that? Well, no, it's 4 different goal scorers, because Conor Hurrian scored twice, yeah. So yeah, that's 5-0. So has there been another goal in the Nottingham Forest derby game? Because if there has, this is just oh yeah, no, just to say, because I did tell you that that Pernaranda did score for Watford, but it was it's saying, wow, what a goal, as Pernaranda picks up the ball some 25 yards out, before driving forward and curling an absolute unstoppable Pabalepe into the top right hand corner. Surely game over there at Vicarage Road. That was about 5-10 minutes ago. About 10 minutes ago. But on here, it's, well, obviously Grimsby Maxwell abandoned, but it's saying, and I've got for any of you Southampton fans, I've got a stat for you. Aged just 19 years and 52 days old, Michael Obafemi is Southampton's youngest goal scorer in the League Cup since against Bournemouth in August 2010, at the age of 16 years and 360 days old. Fledgling. But who was the player? If anyone knows, you can tell me, and if no one knows, in just say 5 minutes, I will tell you who it is, who the player was. And I know if people come back in like a minute or two, they've probably searched them, which I don't care if they have. But anyway, who was? So Michael Obafemi has scored for Southampton today, 19 years of age, but he is the youngest goal scorer in the League Cup since 2010 for Southampton. But who? Well, Southampton's youngest goal scorer, yes, since a certain player against Bournemouth in August 2010, at the tender age of 16 years, 360 days. But who was the player? But it's saying that there has been a 3rd goal at, well, because it's right, there is a 3rd goal at Nottingham Forest. It's now 3-0 for Forest against Derby in the East Anglian Derby. Joao Carvalho has struck their 3rd at the City Ground, and it looks like the Brian Clough Trophy will be won by the home side. But this is in the Carabao Cup. But they're playing for a Brian Clough Trophy. Well, at half time I said that that Leeds had no way of coming back. Well, they've equalised, and it looked like one winner in the next 10 minutes, or it could go to extra time, but it has been coming. Leeds have now pegged Stoke back 2-2. The man who they signed from Wolves Helder Costa has scored at Ellen Road, and it looks like there will only be now. One winner now, which it looks like it's going to be Leeds. So Leeds have come from 2 goals down to Stoke. It's now 2-2. Helder Costa has scored. So yeah, Forest 3 up at Derby. MK Dons now or lead 3-1 at Southend as Harim Verwateng has increased MK Dons' lead, so that one won't be going to extra time for me. But this one, Leeds certainly could. At 2-2 now. So it is going to be intriguing for Bristol Rovers Brighton if there's going to be a late goal to win that one. Are Norwich going to grab a late equaliser so they are not victims of a giant killing by Crawley? Are Palace going to score a late winner, or could they concede a late one? And that's also a giant killing against Colchester, or will that go to extra time? Can Fulham force an equaliser against Southampton? And can Stoke withstand the pressure from Leeds and keep it to extra time, or somehow score, or are Leeds just gonna run away with this game now? And will Reading and Plymouth keep it at 2-2? And can Carlisle peg back Rochdale again? And can Blackburn score one more to make it 2-2 against Sheffield United? But that's still 2-1 as it stands. So, as I've got you up to date so far with these scores, I will quickly run to the bathroom in just 1 second because Crewe Alexandra have pulled a goal back against Villa. Too little, too late. I know they are They were 5-0 down with they were 5-0 down with 14 minutes to play. So now there's probably about 8 minutes to play, and they've scored 1 goal. Could they really score 5 goals in this last 8 to 10 minutes? Well, if they do, I don't know what I will do, but if Crewe Alexandra somehow pull this back, which I know they won't, I'm just being silly, but if they do, then that would be absolutely incredible. But yeah, so Crewe have scored, but it's still 5. But they're still trailing by 5 goals anyway. But it's now Crewe 1, Aston Villa 5. So before that goal, an absolute peach of a goal though from Ryan Winter. Shame it's only a consolation for the home side. Picks up the ball 35 yards out, beats 2 or 3 Villa players, 2 or 3. It's either 2 or it's 3 players, and then slots the ball into the bottom corner from just inside the box. Well, if they can pull off 4 more of those shots in the next 4 shots, it's 5-5. Watch this space. No, I'm joking. Don't. But yeah, anyway, so that is that. I will quickly go to the toilet and then I will be back with the rest of the Carabao Cup ties and potentially extra time. Don't go anywhere, I'll be back in 2. Yes. No. Yes, well, I'm back now. But I did say watch this space for Crew Alexandra to score another 4 goals to draw 5-5 or to get to 5-5. Um, I've just been torn apart by that suggestion because Jack Grealish has just made it 6-1 to Villa. Cheeky back heel from forgotten Villa man Henri Lansbury to pick out Grealish on the edge of the box, and he drills home Villa's sixth. Comprehensive, to say the least. Lifeline for Oxford, potentially. They've got a goal back against Millwall now, just trail 2-1 at home. Mark Sykes scoring there. Can they find an equaliser? Don't know why you ask me. I have no idea. And we might not be heading for Oh, there's no extra time. If it's a draw, it just goes straight into penalties. They don't do extra time in the Carabao Cup. Super Cup has to learn. We might not be heading for penalties at home park. Yeah, Yako Miat scores from the penalty spot to put Reading 3-2 up at Plymouth, who have twice led. Plymouth have. So I was thinking extra time, but there are still chances of getting penalty shootouts on this channel. That's if Bristol Rovers and Brighton don't score. That is if Norwich equalise Crawley, Palace and Colchester don't score, Fulham equalise Southampton, Leeds and Stoke stay at 2-2. But as I said that, Brighton have just scored against Bristol Rovers. Brighton have looked to have nicked it at the death, right at the death. Glenn Murray, so often their saviour, is well placed in the box to poke in after being found by the goal scorer Connolly. Is it Brighton going through right at the death that win there? So as I was saying, I've now only got Crystal Palace, Colchester is the only one which Leeds and Stoke as well, which could potentially go to penalties for me. Norwich, I think, are heading out. I think Southampton are scraping through Michael Obafemi. And just to say, if no one got that little that stat for you, which I said, at 19 years and 54 days, Michael Obafemi has become the youngest Southampton goal scorer in the League Cup, I think it was. But, has become the youngest Villa goal scorer since August 2010, which was by a certain player at the age of 16 and 360 days. And that player was Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, now of Liverpool. He was, still is Southampton's youngest ever goal scorer back in August 2010. But now Michael Obafemi has become their second youngest goal scorer. So yeah, Brighton have nicked it at the end, being well placed to poke the ball in after being found by Alzati, not by Connolly. It said Connolly and now they've changed it to Alzati. So penalties looking likely at Leeds and Stoke, and Palace and Colchester looking likely to give this Oliver James Channel A first penalty shootout on my debut live stream here. It's all over at Newport County 0, West Ham 2. West Ham in the end safely into round 3. No upsets at Rodney Parade. Goals from Wilshere for the first time in 601 days, and 4-0 Southern West Ham the win. And so they are not going to go to penalties, so they can recover ready for the weekend when they play on Saturday afternoon. It's all over at Rodney Parade. Glenn Murray nicks an absolute late winner for Brighton to spare it going into penalties. 2-1 there for Brighton at full time. Glenn Murray picks out a winner right at the death after Connolly put Brighton ahead and Bristol Rovers had equalised. Was it Bristol Rovers had equalised? Through Nichols, and now right at the death, Glenn Murray. They were made to sweat, but the Premier League side have through to round 3 thanks to Glenn Murray's late goal. We did have Grimsby Macclesfield abandoned at half-time due to absolute torrential rain. In Grimsby, the referee came out and was like, no, it is a bit of late, a bit of rain, and I think I'm going to be getting a definite penalty shootout for sure. Oxford United have found an equaliser, 2-0 down, about 2-0 down, 2-0 down 5 minutes ago at home to Championship side Millwall. And now it's 2-2 with James Henry's 94th minute penalty kick of his own. It looks like that he has taken Oxford to penalties at the Kazan. And what would be an absolute most unlikeliest win, if they can go through, it is because from like the 85th minute onwards, Oxford have found 2 goals and could be going into penalties. Watford is over at Vicarage Road. What important win for Javi Gracia, Watford's first win of the season after such a poor start in the Premier League. Full time at Selhurst Park. We're going to penalties at Selhurst Park. We are now officially staying on till penalties after this game has ended goalless in normal time. So there is penalties at Palace and Colchester. Don't go anywhere because I ain't going anywhere now because there is penalties at Palace and Colchester. Potential penalty shootout as well at the Kazan as Oxford City 94th minute equaliser against Millwall from the penalty spot himself could have taken it to penalties. Watch him be the man to miss in the penalty shootout. It's a cliche that could be happening. It's over at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United have just held on to win the game. It's over at Craven Cottage. Fulham 0, Southampton 1. Michael Obafemi has put Southampton into the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. Back-to-back wins now in all competitions for Southampton. After a poor start against Bury, fantastic performance against Liverpool, very unlucky not to take a point against Liverpool. Good performance against, goodish performance against Brighton, I should say. But anyway, Southampton are through 1-0 win from Michael Obafemi. Sheffield United 2-1 up, win 2-1 at Blackburn. But we do have penalties at Palace. Over at Crewe, an absolute rout for Villa. They hit 6 past League 2. Crewe, Alexandra to cruise into round 3. Is there going to be penalties anywhere else? Potentially, it's only this game. Leeds and Stoke, unless there was going to be a late one, and Oxford Mill, I think, could be the other 2 penalty shootout definites here. So penalties will be happening very shortly at Selhurst Park, which I will update you on that one. There's another penalty shootout going to happen as well. I'm getting happier and happier by the day. We are also heading for a penalty shootout at Deepdale, just like Millwall, led 2-0, pegged back by Oxford. Now Preston led 2-0 against Hull. They've been pegged back to 2-2. Jared Bowen has bundled the ball home with virtually the last kick of the game. They are going into penalties at Deepdale. Unbelievable stuff from the former Premier League Tigers of Hull City. Unbelievable. This is making me happier and happier by the second. I get to at least stream with you for, I'd probably say, an extra 10-15 minutes or so at least, whilst penalties happen at Palace and at Hull. and Hull, Preston, and potentially Leeds and Stoke, and and that's it. Just them. Oh, and Millwall, Oxford potentially as well. So yeah, well played, Hull. Jared Bowen. Preston thought that they had it at 2-0, just like probably Millwall did, and that has not happened. So on my debut on streaming live reactions to football, because I mean I've done pre-recorded one, me recording my reactions to Premier League games that had happened on the weekends, which I'm gonna try and redo them as well. But obviously on my first proper live one, getting penalty shootout, I've had fantastic support from new people in live chat, which has been very humbling. I've had and I've still got people in here watching it now. So if you want to, before penalty shootouts, if you want to, it would be humbling and very overwhelming to give the video a like and also to subscribe to the channel. And if there is any way you think I can improve the content or anything you want to see from the channel, you can either tell me in the live chat or in the comments below. And you can also follow me on Twitter at the Oliver James. It would be very much appreciated. No pressure though. You don't have to do it, but just be appreciative. Because then we can then live stream whenever I'm on. And if you wanted to press that post notification bell next to subscribe, it will update you anytime I have uploaded something to the channel, or when I'm live, it would tell you. So if you did want to like and subscribe to the channel, it would be much appreciative. Going to penalties at Palace Colchester, which is 0-0. Leeds and Stoke 2-2. Oxford Millwall 2-2. Preston Hull 2-2. These are the 4 ties we have going into penalties for sure. But it is over at Crawley Town. The upset of the night. Bez Lubala's deflected first half strike has seen League 2 Crawley Town through at home against Premier League side Norwich. Fantastic result for Crawley Town. Upset Norwich. Unbelievable. Crawley 1, Norwich 0. That is a giant killing, to say the least. So yeah, the 4 games that are going into penalties are Palace Colchester, which ended 0-0. Leeds Stoke 2-2. Great comeback for Leeds, 2-0 down. Oxford Millwall 2-2. Great comeback for Oxford, who were 2-0 down. And Preston Hull also ended 2-2, which could again come back for Hull, which they were 2-0 down. So I mean, all the games that are 2-2. Leeds and Stoke went 2-0 up. Leeds pulled it back. Millwall went 2-0 up in the game against Oxford. Oxford pulled it back with a very late goal for 2-2. And Preston went 2-0 up at home to Hull. And Hull pulled it back very late as well, 2-2, to force these penalties. But there could also be another upset of round 2 here. Because, I mean, as I've just said, Crawley Town have knocked out Norwich. But Colchester could knock out Palace on penalties, because they're going to penalties after a 0-0 draw in normal time. But penalties not yet started in these ones. But there could be an upset there. But I think Palace, Leeds, Millwall, and Preston are all going to go through from penalties. Bailey Roach, I like your hair. Oh, thank you very much. I mean, I need it cut in my mid anyway. I'm just getting lazy. But no, I do need my haircut. Thank you anyway. I mean, look at it, it's getting too long, man. Getting lazy. So yeah, but then we did also have one game abandoned at halftime. Grimsby Town 0-0 with Macclesfield. That was abandoned due to torrential rain. So that one will have to be played at a later date. And tomorrow night, there are more Carabao Cup ties for you for tomorrow night. I will be here to live stream them, to live stream the live scores and my reactions to them, which does feature Lincoln City against Everton. I know it's QPR, Portsmouth, and Bournemouth are in action as well. And I think there was also another All Premier League tie. I know Burnley are against someone as well, but there was an All-Prem tie. Well, was it Burnley? Was it Bournemouth? I don't know. Well, I mean, that is tomorrow anyway. Those games that I will be back here doing tomorrow for my second ever live stream. I will double check them now anyway. But I mean, I've not heard anything on the situations yet with Berry. We know that the CNN deal was off, but then they've got 3 new bids on the table. Oxford United are through to the third round after beating Millwall 4. The League One side having converted all their spot kicks. So, I mean, it didn't actually tell me that there was a penalty scored in each game, which I was expecting it to, but it hasn't. So, yeah, Oxford are through on penalties as it stands. Oxford have knocked out Millwall on penalties. Fantastic result for them, especially being 2-0 down at the start. Being 2-0 down. But yeah, Bury, have got 3 new bids on the table now, so they may stay as a football club. But Bolton's 5 p.m. deadline has passed. They have not yet issued whether a takeover of Bolton is to be completed or they face expulsion from the Football League. We will find out. They said there will be a further statement will be issued later this evening. They said that at 5:10, and it's coming up to nearly 10 o'clock at night. But yeah, Oxford United, after beating Millwall 3-2, it says on penalties, with the League One side having converted all their spot kicks. So maybe Millwall went first and missed 2. So no, because it must have been 4-2, but it did say 4-2, and then it changed it to 3-2. But oh well. So yeah, Oxford through on penalties anyway. But yeah, those games for you for tomorrow: Bournemouth against Forest Green Rovers, Burnley, Sunderland, Lincoln, Everton, Newcastle, Leicester was the All Premier League tie for tomorrow. QPR, Portsmouth, Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, Swansea, and Cambridge as well. And there are games in France, but I probably won't be updating you on the French league. Bournemouth to beat Forest Green, obviously. Burnley to knock out Sunderland. I hope Lincoln knock out Everton, but it won't happen. Leicester to knock out Newcastle. Portsmouth to beat QPR. Sheffield Wednesday to knock out Rotherham, and Swansea to knock out Cambridge United. That's my opinion. But anyway, Oxford United are through. Still waiting on updates from Leeds, Palace, and Preston to see who else is going into the next round of the Carabao Cup. So Oxford 2-0 down. Oxford were at home until about 80, maybe 83, 84 minutes. Then they grabbed 2 goals from then and into stoppage time, and then they knocked Millwall out on penalties. What a fantastic last 10 minutes or so for Oxford as they make the third round of the Carabao Cup, when it did look, entering the last 10 minutes, as that they were going to go home and Millwall were going to progress. But they clearly, they got their equaliser at 2-2 from the penalty spot. So it looks like they have been practicing on penalties, because they've scored all their penalties and have knocked out Millwall. Waiting on, look, it would be something. Because obviously, if Leeds knock out Stoke and Hull knock out Preston, then it would be the 3 teams that have come back from 2 goals down would have come through on penalties. And that would actually be something quite funny to see. But, I did say Leeds would win, but I think Preston are unbelievable. League Two Colchester United have made it through to the third round of the Carabao Cup, or the League Cup, for the first time in 15 years. They've beaten Crystal Palace 5-4 on penalties, so it must have been 4-4, or maybe Colchester made it 5-4, and then a Palace guy has missed a penalty to spark wild scenes in the away end at Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace and Norwich both out to giant killings to Colchester and Crawley. Colchester knock out Palace on penalties, and they are through to the third round of the Carabao Cup for the first time in 15 years. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well played, Colchester United. Hopefully you get United in the third round and knock out Manchester United or Man City. Just don't do it to Liverpool, please. Because especially at Anfield, and be the first team to win at Anfield since 2017. That would be embarrassing. So yeah, I said Palace were going through, so I'm wrong on that one. I did not actually see. A Colchester. A Colchester win on penalties happening, but quite clearly, League Two Colchester forced a giant killing, just like Crawley. Can more happen tomorrow with Forest Green up against Bournemouth and Sunderland against Burnley? You never know. You never know. Is this cup now starting to get the FA Cup feel to it? Because the FA Cup usually produces the giant killings, not usually the Carabao Cup producing two giant killings in one night. Not usually, but well, I mean, in some ways, Oxford and Millwall kind of is League One and Championship. I know it's like one league or so, but still, Oxford were two down, and they completed a remarkable comeback. So, are they just taking it in turns, just going round each ground to play penalties? Because obviously the Oxford one happened, then 3-4 minutes later, the Palace one has happened. So still waiting on updates from Leeds and Stoke, Preston and Hull. So maybe they are still going on. Maybe it's like 2020 in both penalty shootouts. You never know on that one. So yeah, I've been nearly now streaming for 2 hours, and it's nearly an incredible debut for my Carabao Cup live stream debut, and I'll be back with it tomorrow. And if I do get the chance on the weekend, I will do a big one for the Premier League and for the Championship and League One and League Two as well. If that's what you would like me to do, I'll try and figure something out. If that's what you would like me to do, then you can put it in the comments section down below, or if you would like to see it, and you can put it in the live chat or in the comments if you would like to see me do a live Premier League, Championship, League One, and League Two one at some point. It would be much appreciated. You know, I know I've said this a few times today. You know, well, Stoke City have knocked out Leeds. Stoke have edged out Leeds 5-4 on penalties. And guess what? A much maligned Jack Butland was one of the visitors' heroes in the shootout, with the keeper finding the net. Jack Butland took a penalty and scored one in the 5-4 penalty shootout win, just like with Colchester. So Leeds and Palace both must have missed last gasp penalties, or missed one at 4-4, and then either Stoke scored to make it 5-4, or it went 5-4, and then they had one save. So Stoke have knocked out Leeds. Colchester, remember, knocked out Palace. But I know, and I've said this a few times during the night, but it's only because I'd like I just want the channel to grow, and I'd love to be able to grow, have more people to and then have more people to do this with. Oh my word, another penalty shootout going 5-4. Finally, Preston are the last team through to the third round after they beat Hull 5-4 on penalties after the tie had ended 2-2 in normal time. So two giant killings, and Stoke knocking out Leeds as well, but 2 giant killings have happened. So that is all for the Carabao Cup ties today. Anything else happens with Bury and Bolton tonight, I will do a quick live, well, not live, but maybe a quick recording, to just so I can, just so I can update everyone on the situations, what's going on, and I'm hoping that Bolton do not get liquidized and that they do not. And I just hope that they do not get liquidized. I just hope that they don't get liquidized or anything. We won 2-1. You won 2-1. Well, good win that then, 2-1. Just trying to think which game that was. When's the draw? That's something. I guess the draw will probably either follow the games tomorrow, or the draw will be on Thursday, because there is a few more games on tomorrow. And in the draw for that will be your game got abandoned. Grimsby Macclesfield, yes, it got abandoned at half time due to torrential rain. So you said we won 2-1. So you're either Sheffield United supporter if you won 2-1, or there was no. I think that was just it. So you're Grimsby. No, that was either New Boys, either Brighton or Sheffield United. But yeah, Grimsby. Yeah, unfortunately, it did. They posted something to Twitter about the torrential rain, and I saw that looked pretty bad. So obviously, the referee called off the game. But you and Macclesfield most probably will be in the draw for the third round whenever your game will be replayed as well. But the rain was really bad. Bloody hell, bad lightning as well. So yeah, fair play to the referee then calling off the game and thinking of everyone's safety rather than just trying to get the game over and done with. Quite like that, to be honest. But yes, I will be back tomorrow for the other Carabao Cup round 2 games, and then I can hopefully find out and let you know when the draw is, which I presume it. I don't think it'll do. Do I think Newcastle will win against Leicester tomorrow? Well, I mean, they picked up a fantastic win against Tottenham on the weekend. It was I was very, very happy with that. Obviously, it was a shock as well. To go to Tottenham and to win 1-0, especially after Tottenham had gone to the Etihad and grabbed a point against Manchester City the week before that. But then Leicester have not really been in some stellar form, really, have they? They drew to a very young Chelsea team who can't buy anyone. Then they drew to Wolves as well on the opening day. Did they play Wolves on the opening day or Wolves last week? No, Wolves lost. No, Wolves drew to Burnley last week. So yeah, I think they've drawn to Wolves. They drew to Chelsea and then Leicester something. But that's a toughie, that is. But I think I might just edge with Leicester. That's nothing. I've got nothing against Newcastle whatsoever. I just don't have faith in Steve Bruce. Got no faith in Steve Bruce. I mean, going from someone as big as Rafa to going down to, in my opinion, Steve Bruce is a championship level manager, just like Neil Warnock of Cardiff. But I mean, to go from someone as big as Rafa, I mean, Newcastle could have still probably attracted a marquee or a high class manager, but then they went with Steve Bruce, which I mean, I was quite actually surprised about that one. But I mean, look, Steve Bruce could absolutely that win against Tottenham on Saturday. Saturday, yeah. No, Sunday. That could actually spark something from Newcastle, and and he could actually surprise me, and he could actually do something good for the club, because I reckon the Newcastle fans are quite sceptical about him as well, because obviously he managed Sunderland, obviously big rivals of yours as well. So, but I mean, he does need to be given time, unless obviously the form dips dramatically. Because obviously you're playing up against Leicester, who have got a good manager in Brendan Rodgers. But I mean, I just don't have faith in Steve Bruce, and that's nothing. And that's nothing. That's nothing personal against Newcastle. I think it will be 1-1, and Newcastle will win on penalties if Leicester put out a weakened team. Yeah, potentially Leicester might do, but I think this is something that Brendan Rodgers may want to try and get quite far in or win, because he tried it with Liverpool and failed, obviously, just like he failed with everything else, winning the league. Unfortunately, we went close again last season and lost that one. But yeah, I mean, it would be good for Newcastle to pick up a win tomorrow as well, just like it was good for Watford and Southampton tonight to win, because Watford hadn't won all season and they beat Coventry, and now Southampton are now two wins on the bounce in all competitions. So it would be good for Newcastle to keep it up, to beat Leicester after that big win against Tottenham Hotspur. Yeah, yeah, because I think yeah, I thought so. I thought Leicester would be taking both cups, City again. Um, but I know, and I do think Brendan Rodgers will take the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup pretty seriously this season, because obviously he wants to try and win something, especially after all the success he got at Celtic, being the one man team, the one man manager that is in the that was in the SBL. So yeah, I mean, he's gone from success to leave that success to come to the Premier League with Leicester and to do absolutely nothing with that. So yeah, I but I think Leicester will edge it. That's only because I've got no confidence in Steve Bruce whatsoever. Nothing against Newcastle or anything, just no confidence in Steve Bruce. So yeah, that's my opinion. But anyway, I will be back at about. I will be back tomorrow for Carabao Cup for day 2 of the Carabao Cup round 2 actions, and day 2 of my Carabao Cup live stream. I will be back obviously a lot earlier than I was today. I just had a bit of connection problems earlier in the day. Well, about from that, because obviously I thought of this earlier today at work. But I thought, why not try and go live for the football and see how successful it is, and it's turned out to be quite successful, to be fair. Which, I mean, I thank every single one of you for that. But yeah, so I mean, I'll be back live tomorrow, hopefully from about 7:30, maybe just about before the kickoffs at 7:45. For obviously games for like Lincoln City, Everton, Newcastle, Leicester, Bournemouth, Forest Green, Burnley against someone, I've forgotten that one now. Rotherham, Sheffield United, QPR, Portsmouth as well. So yeah, I mean, there are those ones, and I will say this for one last time. It would be grateful if you liked what you've seen today and want to see more. You can like the video and also subscribe to the channel, because then when you subscribe, you can always tell when I'm going live or putting up a video. So a like and subscribe would be very, very nice. If there is anything you would like to see on the stream, from like if there's anything you would like me to do on the stream, like put up certain like football videos or whatever, you can either tell me in the live chat before I go now, or you can put them in the comment section below. And you can also, if you have Twitter and you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at the Oliver James. So yeah, I mean, it would be truly grateful if you like, subscribe to the channel, and if you have anything that you would like me obviously to do, how I can potentially improve the channel, or any content you would like me to see, like going live for Premier League games or FA Cup games, or just make like daily or weekly football like news videos, or whatever, like daily football news videos or whatever, anything you would like to see or for me to do, how I can improve the channel, how I can just how I can like improve the channel, and how I can interact more with you guys would be fantastic. And remember also to follow me on Twitter, which I will actually write in the live chat for you now. So yeah, Twitter is mono, obviously without that capital A, but yeah. So yeah, Twitter is that. So yeah, that's my Twitter at the Oliver James, just because Oliver James is highlighted up, but it is at the Oliver James. So quickly before I go, there's still no news on Bury and Bolton. If I do hear anything from Bury or Bolton, any news on them, I will update you on the situation. If you would like to follow me on Twitter, it is at the Oliver James. You can like and subscribe to the channel, which would be absolutely fantastic. And if there's any way that you think I can improve the channel, or any content you would like me to see or like me to do for use, you can put them in the comment section down below. And I will be back tomorrow, obviously about 7:30ish, for tomorrow's Carabao Cup ties, which feature Lincoln City against Everton, Newcastle, Leicester, QPR, Portsmouth. That's getting messed up then, Bournemouth, Forest Green, Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, and I know Burnley are in action as well, but I forgot who Burnley are against. So yeah, so that is what is on offer for tomorrow. I'll try and be live for the weekend for the Premier League games, but I'll try. But anyway, anything from Bury and Bolton between now and because obviously Bolton said they would try and update by the end of the night. So anything on that, then I will post something up for you guys. And if you want to, I would be very happy for you to rejoin me from about 7:30 tomorrow night for some more round 2 Carabao Cup action for you guys for tomorrow. I've been Oliver James, and thank you very much. Oh, still hasn't ended then. Damn. There we go.